Some of you might remember about a year ago, I talked about this toy right here, Tobot Captain Police. I titled the video Cybertron's Successor, the spiritual successor to Transformers Cybertron, because Tobot is a line from Korea that is basically transforming robots, but they are big, they are chunky, they are clicky, and they really harken back to Transformers of the early to mid-2000s. Just the feel of it, the quality of it. This Tobot Captain Police is amazing, and I love this toy. It's very, very cool. But he started to get a little lonely. I was looking at other Tobots, and one of them spoke to me so much, and I waited and waited and waited to get it, but I finally gotten it. Make a space. This is where the spaceship lands. This is just the empty box. But I got my next Tobot. This is Wild Chief. This is just his box, but I just want to show it because it's really cool. I mean, just look at this guy. You can already tell this is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. One funny thing to note, he's a Tobot V Season 3 Wild Chief, made by Young Toys. I do believe Captain Police here is probably Season 1 or 2, because this is kind of a different make. It's got some different things going on with it. I do think it's very funny, though, at the very top. You can't buy and play with this unless you're 36 years old. I think it's probably like 36 months. That's probably how they do it in Korea. It's like, oh, you can play with it if you're 36 months. So like 3+, I guess, is what they're kind of aiming at here. But yeah, I just think 36+ is kind of funny. But yes, here he is. Here is Tobot Wild Chief. And essentially, by the end of this video, I hope that I can convince you, if you're a Transformers fan, not really into just robots in general, I'm hoping I can convince you, as a Transformers fan, to go get yourself a Tobot. Because even though it's not Optimus Prime, it's not Autobots, it's not Decepticons, it's not Hasbro, it's Young Toys, it's not Transformers, it's Tobot, I'm hoping that I can convince you that these are fun, awesome transforming robot toys, and if you like Transformers toys, then these are worth your time. Absolutely. Take a look at Tobot. So I do want to preface with Captain Police is a bit bigger than Wild Chief. That is actually something I didn't really expect. I actually expected Wild Chief to be about the size of Captain Police. So when I got it, I was a little disappointed that he was slightly smaller, but you can look at it and tell that so much of the budget went into the paint, the sculpt, the detail, the articulation, because the Captain Police, you know, it was definitely harkening back to mid-2000s with the engineering as well as the articulation. Not super articulated. But Wild Chief is actually pretty posable, and in my opinion, the better toy of the two. I mean, you can tell both these guys, they do belong to the same line. You can tell, but they have different kind of gimmicks and everything. So Captain Police here, Sergeant Justice, whichever name you want to go with, his toe key was this little like lion partner, like tiger, wolf. I think it's a wolf. It's what it is. It's a wolf. Duh, it's a wolf. It's like a wolf partner that, you know, kind of transforms, and when you're transforming him into the robot mode, you plug it in, and oh, look, it springs up as long as you don't, you know, drop it. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. But his toe key is a literal key. He's the second of this little group, and the key really has the strongest functionality in the transformation from vehicle to robot. So I'll show you that once we get there. It's kind of cool, but not super necessary. But I mean, look at that. That just looks really cool there. So I do want to give some size comparisons to those that are kind of wondering, like, what's the size of these? You know, if you're a Transformers collector, you're kind of wondering, like, what's the size, this, that, and the other? So both of these retail. I got them both for floating around like $50 to $60 each. So they're not cheap. These are not cheap toys. You kind of have to think about it. If you're getting a Tobot, you really have to think, am I going to get a Tobot at this price? Well, let's bring in some size comparisons. Here's a $25 Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Shrapnel. So you can see $25, $55. You know, that's quite the size difference. And he doesn't have the trailer with him, but here is a Scourge toy from Velocitron that is the same price. And I can tell you that Wild Chief here is a lot heavier than Scourge. Now, granted, Scourge, like I said, doesn't have the trailer with him right now. That is something he includes. But look at that size. You know, for the price, you're getting something pretty big here. I did look. I didn't take him off the shelf because it would have been a little too much of a pain. But Wild Chief here is ever so slightly a smidge taller than the Evolution Leader Class Dragon Megatron. So that kind of gives you an idea. We're basically looking at a Leader Class size right here. And this is kind of like old Leader Class size, you know? Just saying. They've shrunk them a bit. Okay, let's get these size comparisons out of the way, because we need to focus in on Wild Chief, because this is one of the best robot toys I have bought in a hot minute. So what can I say, man? Just look at this. It looks so cool. Zooming in real quick, look at that head sculpt. If that ain't a giant transforming robot head, I don't know what is. He's got this awesome, like, rectangular, like, looking clear bit on his forehead that has some white paint on it. He's got this really cool robotic jaw. Like, he's got a big old chin, and you can just see his mouth right there. I love the white face and the black chin. I like that contrast. A little speckle of gold there, too, just adds so much detail. And he does have light piping for those eyes. That is really nice. That is a really cool head. And then the body. Like, yeah, that's the front. That's the front of, like, the Hummer thing he turns into. That looks great, man. All that little detail, all the little paint, the nice little clear bits right there. I mean, look at all that color differentiation. A little bit of gunmetal gray right there. It's just so great. I love how the wheels, like, you know, they could have just left it. They could have just left it like that. That's what Hasbro probably would have done. But no, they push in. They conform to the body and give him, like, physical bulk in the body. Like, just look at that. Look at that. If you're a Transformers fan and you are not liking what you're seeing, you're not a Transformers fan. Not unless you just purely care about the lore and the story of Transformers. But for me, in my opinion, like, a Transformers fan just likes cool giant transforming robots, man. That's what we're ultimately here for. The story is just a nice little bonus. You know? We just like big old robots. And this one is so cool. I love the shoulders. I did mistransform the shoulder right here. Technically, how it should be folded like this, which is the same as this side. But I kind of don't think that's necessary, because you just kind of see this port right here for the transformation, and just kind of, you know, it makes sense because, you know, you need this port to tab in the key, so you kind of need that right there. Or you could actually just put the key down there on his leg, which is another cool spot to put it. I kind of like it on a leg sometimes. But, you know, it kind of makes sense having it up on the shoulder, because you can just see that's his emblem. But for me, I just think it looks a little cooler seeing some of that vehicle mode poking through. Because you can almost imagine, like, if he has a human partner, that's enough space on the shoulder where they could actually stay in, like, the driver position in the robot mode. That is such a cool little idea. The arms, look at all that detail. All the gunmetal, then white, then red, then more white, then more gunmetal. All the color differentiation, if I don't drop them, is just so nice. Look at the little bit of gold on the hips right there. And then the thighs, just red, silver. The knees, too. The knees are like the back bumpers. So much detail. The legs are a little detailless on the front, because that's essentially the top of the vehicle. That's all the, you know, support structure and, you know, things where you can strap things to the top. But the side, there's a gas can. There's, you know, window. Tons of little black details, white striping, and the paint is crisp. Young Toys knows how to make a robot toy. Look at the wheels right here, and the wheels are pinned in, by the way. They're not just plugged, they're pinned, so he rolls like a dream. This is just such an awesome robot toy. And look at his back. Notice something? There's nothing sticking off of him. Not a thing sticking off of him. This is just such a well-done robot toy. It is, and I can't express how good it feels in my hands. It seriously feels like something chunky from the era of Transformers Cybertron or RID, just something big and substantial. It is, and I mean, just listen to this. Like, even the elbow. Ooh, if you don't knock the key off, that is actually one of my only complaints with this. If you have the key on that shoulder, you can't fully bend the elbow because it takes it off. But, I mean, if you just listen to that, the elbow has a click, the shoulders have a click, the hips, everything clicks, man. Everything clicks. The knees have a big click. The torso, he has an ab crunch. This is a robot toy with an ab crunch. I'm just saying. You can actually like move that and move that if you want to give more of like the anime look, which is kind of cool. Man, it's a robot with an ab crunch. What more can I say? That's amazing. And you can kind of use the transformation joint to give him a little bit of an upward look. But you can see it kind of gets a little hingy in there. Yeah, man, this is just, it feels so great. The head is on the smoothest ball joint in the world, and it's so much motion, so much emotion. It's so good. Like here, let me just pose him real quick. So let's see. Let's get him, you know, kind of fisty. Give him that arm up. He doesn't have a waist swivel, unfortunately. That's one thing he's missing. But other than that, you know, let's get that fist looking like he's getting ready to punch. He's kind of doing like a movie Optimus Prime pose. One thing with articulation I do want to point out, if you want to get a little too crazy with the legs, like you can move the legs forward perfectly fine. But once you start getting a little too crazy, it's going to move the wheels out. So I would kind of move those out if you're really planning on getting the legs up. Because, I mean, the legs are kind of going to fill that void in the body anyway. But yeah, let's kind of get that leg right there. Let's zoom out a little bit because we're a little too close for posing time. And then this leg can get all the way out. You don't have any kind of tilt with the foot, but, I mean, it's a giant robot. You're not going to need to tilt his foot. Look at that. Look at that, man. Here, we can even, like, give him an ab crunch, too. Move his legs a little bit. And it feels so good. I can't emphasize enough how good this feels. If you are a Transformers fan, you should not be sleeping on Tobot. You should not. And there's so much variety in the line, too. Like, I just picked Wild Chief here. There's so many others you could get. They're so good. Tobot is so good. They really don't make Transformers toys like this anymore. Not officially. Now, granted, I said this in the Captain Police video, and I'll say it here. How they still make Transformers toys are very, very good. Like, you know, let's bring Scourge back. He still has really smooth motion. He still has a lot of nice joints, really nice articulation, really nice paint. It's still a very nice toy, but it doesn't do this. It doesn't do this. It's not big, it's not clicky, it's not covered in paint. And again, this is essentially a leader class figure for leader class price. It's just not a Transformer, so it's a little bit harder to swallow the pill there. Okay, are you ready to see one of the most satisfying transformations on a giant robot toy that you've probably seen in quite a while? Because this transformation, man, it's just so silky smooth. It's perfect. It's so good for kids. It's so fun for collectors. Such an amazing transformation. So we'll take the key off. We will not need the key, at least for this. Spread his arms out, get these folded in, and then we'll fold the arms up. And this is a transformation where nothing gets in the way of each other. It just goes together so smooth. You spread the torso up, fold in the wheels, and look, you just push that in, and then it just goes together. Push the head down, and the top of the head kind of forms this little intake there, which looks super cool. And then the legs. What we'll do with the legs, fold the feet in, take these little panels, flip them up, tab them in, flip the wheels out, and then you are not ready for this. You are not ready. This. Oh, man. That is satisfying. That is so satisfying. You take the key, just plug it up there. Look at this alt mode. Look at this. All those details I pointed out have come together to form one of the coolest looking like Hummer Jeep kind of things that I have seen in a long time. The black and the gunmetal, the red and the white, all the colors has come together to form one of the coolest alt modes that I have in my entire collection. And this thing's substantial too, it feels heavy. And again, pinned wheels rolls like a dream. It is so good. It's so good. So the key, you may be wondering, what's the point of the key? You know, you just have this key. Essentially, it's just a fun way to transform it. So you can kind of see a little slot at the top. will just basically twist the key and it unlocks him. Now granted, you know, for a kid or something that doesn't have the key, you can just pull him apart. You know, you just pull them apart. You don't need the key. But the key is just this added element of prestige with the transformation on this. It reminds me of Transformers Cybertron, having this extra thing that contributes to the robot. I think one of the only things this guy is missing is an accessory. He doesn't come with a gun or anything. He's just, here I am. I'm Wild Chief. And honestly, that's all he needs, man. That is all he needs. I still have it transformed from a video I did on it. Here it is next to a Titan's Return Deluxe Class Blur. So you can kind of see, you know, how it's going to look next to a Deluxe. I mean, this thing feels heavy, man. I've not felt a leader class size figure be this heavy since they had electronics in them. And this guy does not have electronics. He just has that much bulk, that much plastic. This is an absolutely remarkable toy. Absolutely remarkable. And we've got a little bit of extra time. Because I can, if I can find them, like, the same kind of, you know, design philosophy goes forward with Captain Police here. The transformation on this guy, and now granted, I definitely recommend going back and watching my video specifically on Captain Police, but the transformations are just so silky smooth. I mean, you got to do them in the right order, actually. But they just work so well. I will kind of say I do like the size of Captain Police. I do like how much bigger he is, because he really just feels like a big robot toy, you know? He doesn't just feel like kind of a leader class like that. He's just big old robot toy, you know? And for me, that's exactly what I'm down for. I mean, just look at this. Look at how seamless and easy this is to transform. Boom. Done. Big car. You can see Captain Police's car is a little bigger than Wild Chief's, but, you know, that's just the size difference for you. So I actually want to end this off I have been transforming Wild Chief off and on ever since I got him yesterday. I cannot get enough of this toy. Just look at this. Look at how easy and fast this transformation is. Look at this. You can even flip the feet up to contribute to getting those tabbed in. Legs done. Boom. Torso time. Flip the torso. Spread that out. Get that. Get that. Get that. Contort these to however you want. Push in the arms. Boom. Robot. That is just so satisfying. This toy is great. This is one of the best robots that I have gotten in so long. And it's... Now, granted, I love Transformers. I love them. They will always be my favorite toy line ever. But seeing what Young Toys is doing over in Korea with Tobot, I wish Hasbro would be able to do something like this. But hey, I'm happy it still exists on the market. I'm happy big, chunky, clicky robot toy is still something new on the market. So, I'm hoping by the end of this video, I have convinced you to, at the very least, take a look at Tobot. Go on Amazon right now and just look up Tobot. And just look at all the variety. There's ones that turn into planes, into birds, into jeeps, into little buggies, into cars. There's a lot in Tobot. And it's an amazing line. I can't speak for every single toy. I can't, because I don't have them all. These are the only two I have. But this Wild Chief is seriously one of the best transforming robot toys that I've gotten in a long time. I love Transformers. Transformers still give me some awesome, awesome toys. I would say Transformers give me more awesome action figures. You know, I'm seeing this as like a transforming robot toy. The transformation, the feel of it, the chunk, the quality, it's amazing. The paint is perfect, the color scheme, the design, mwah, magnifique. However, Transformers, they can give me better action figures. You know, like I can say posability-wise and like coolness factor-wise, I would say that this Scourge is probably a better action figure, because he doesn't have some of the hindrances that Wild Chief does. But the transformation and everything, it's not like Wild Chief. It's not big, clicky, boom, boom, you're done, and both modes look amazing, and it's this great, you know, it's like Wild Chief accomplishes being an amazing transforming robot toy, more than a lot of other Transformers do. While Transformers nowadays focuses on more of kind of like a puzzle kind of element of the transformation, more of like kind of figuring it out while still giving you a really cool action figure and an awesome all mode at the end. That transformation, the hand feel, the deco, the design, all of it just comes together, and it brings me something that I am so unbelievably satisfied with, and you really owe it to yourself. If you are a Transformers fan, at the very least, put a Tobot in your hands. Even if you don't own it, even if it's a friend's, even if you're just at some shop and someone's got a Tobot, put a Tobot in your hands. Just look at it, play with it. And I think you should buy one. I don't feel like it's cheating on Transformers. This isn't something in the American market. It is, on Amazon, but you don't see this thing in Toys R Us, and Toys R Us doesn't even exist anymore, unless you're in Canada, of course. But you don't see this in, Walmart, Target, places like that. You don't see this. This isn't engrossing on the Transformers brand. It's not a bootleg. They're not trying. They don't call this Ironhide, even though they could have, and I would have been really happy with it. This would be an awesome Ironhide toy, that's for sure. But it's Wild Chief. He's got a goofy name because he's a big, dumb, goofy robot transforming boy, and I love it. Love, love, love it. I think I've rambled long enough. Seriously, if you're a Transformers fan, don't sleep on Tobot, because these things may not be around forever, man. And you might be watching this video 5-10 years from now, and you're like, I really want this. And you look on eBay, and it's like $200 now, because it was only in Korea. South Korea. I should probably specify South Korea. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Love this toy. I had to gush about it. It's so good. Special shout out to the channel members as well. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Have a good one, guys. And let's do it. One more time, just to show you how good, how seamless this kind of stuff is. Let's get him back. Let's get those legs spread. That sounded gross. Let's get these feet flipped. Didn't sound as gross. Like, just hear the clicks, man. Hear the click. Feel the click. This guy also came with a shotgun, by the way. It just kind of fell off of him and I didn't grab it. Like, just look at this, man. Get those arms folded down. And last but not least, you get the little wolf boy in there. Boom. That is Tobot. That is Tobot. And I think, if you're a Transformers fan, you need yourself some Tobot in your life. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.